Mr. Park, it is an honor
Yeah, it is an honor.
to have this call with you. It's recording now. So, Mr. Park, what we're going to be doing today is just having a friendly conversation.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, I love to.
If you remember when we met for, I believe, was it for coffee? No, lunch and coffee.
Yeah.
Um, you were sharing your journey with us,
Mhm.
and I thought, you know what? If everyone can hear your story, it could really inspire them and
Mhm.
help motivate them to achieve their dreams with their English as well. And
Yeah.
so here today, there's no script, there's no
Mhm.
preparation, right?
Okay.
It's just a conversation. And Mr. Park, if you can have your camera go, I
Is that
guess,
sound
yeah, perfect.
better?
Good. All
Okay.
right. And let me see here. Okay. We're good. All right, Mr. Park, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired, but I I was very expected to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
I came back home 20 minutes ago,
Hmm.
so I just set up the phone. No, set up the computer, downloaded this Zoom application. I was waiting for you.
Good. Good. Um, Mr. Park, I guess my first question would be uh, not question, but just, I guess, an introduction, right? I want to introduce you and
Mhm.
you can give me maybe a short introduction of who you are and what you're currently doing. That would be fantastic.
Okay, this really makes me nervous.
You're fine.
Always. Self-introduction makes me nervous.
You're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. My name is Michael Park, but my Korean name is Munhwan Park. I have been studying English with Dan Lee from the January 2017, I guess.
2000 and wasn't it 16? Was it 2017?
Last year.
Was
Actually,
it last year?
I start January last year.
Good.
Yeah. But I think I met you before that. Maybe 2016, December.
Correct.
And currently I'm working in Schneider Electric Korea as a sales manager in energy department. And what else? So what else I
That's
can
it.
say?
No, that's it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
there's so much about you, though. There's so many things that you do. I don't know how much you want to share, but I think one of the things that really stands out about you is your curiosity
Mhm.
and your proactiveness to pursue your
Mhm.
curiosity, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things if you're okay, was your trip to the United States this year.
Ah, last year.
Was it last year? Time
Yeah.
flies. Okay.
Yeah, time flies. It was last summertime.
Okay. And then, do you want to share where you went, or
Yeah, yeah. It was the State, New York
Mhm,
State.
mhm.
I actually went to United States with my wife because my wife want my support, especially in English. She want to participate some kind of mindfulness meditation course in New York. My wife English speaking and understanding skill was not that good, so he asked me a help. So uh, I got a permission to my previous company, for 10 days holiday. It was actually very long period of time. So I went there with my wife. There was some announcement from the department, so please ignore that.
Okay.
And there are around 20 people participated that course.
Mm-hmm.
all over the world. Especially there are many Americans, around 10 people, but some are from Canada, French, and Australia, and like us from Asia was a Japanese woman, one of Japanese woman, and 5 to 6 Chinese university students and professors, and we mainly have time to know learn about my body and soul, how my body react from the environment outside of our body. So it's totally about how my body react according to my mind condition.
Mm.
Quite new to me because I wasn't very good at that field, especially mindfulness meditation. My wife was running that for a long time, but I was quite new.
Mm.
So I start to, study the kind of field. Especially I got a coach from my English coach, John.
Mm-hmm.
He recommended me to listen about the audiobook like mindfulness trainings and some meditation courses. And also he want me to recommend me to read some articles about mindfulness so that I can learn and get used to about the word and sentence what the mindfulness teacher says.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I've been training that the kind of job for about 2 months, and then it really helps me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there in mindfulness course with my wife. I can understand more than 70% of what teacher says. There
Mm-hmm.
was 5 to 6 teachers, but mostly I could understand. The problem was to explain the contents I understood and to translate to my wife because I understand, but I cannot translate and explain to my wife so quickly as teacher said. Then I just understand and to explain to my wife, it was quite tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I got stressed. But after one day, I was thinking about why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Why I spend my money to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to focus on my body and soul to the purpose I'm here. I'm here to support my wife.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to stressful what I'm doing. The only thing I can focus on is to support and help my wife to understand what she wants to listen and learn from this course.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from second day, I can only focus on the purpose. So that really relieves stress
Mm-hmm.
from the kind of English, translating and listening and speaking to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually quite meaningful time because not I'm just I'm j- I didn't just go there to sightseeing and enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was there to learn something with my wife, and that after 2 or 3 days later, my wife told me that told me she was very impressed about my uh change. How can I say it? It's that my mind was changed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the first job was the perfect translation, but I slightly changed my intention or can I say
Mind,
motive,
mindset.
mindset. Yeah, mindset to only help my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny thing was during the lunch time and some break time, there are many friends all over the world. We had a lot of chat, but every person I met, he asked me, "Where did you learn English? How do
Nice.
you learn like this?"
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't expect that kind of uh, response because I'm just a beginner of learning English, but that is almost, I think it was 6 months, 6 months after I learned English from your company, Don and Lee,
Mhm.
but I really didn't expect I got that kind of, reaction.
But the best reaction, I think, was from your wife, right? She,
Yes, yes. She was very impressed and he appreciated very much to
because
me.
whenever you have those classes with John,
Mhm.
she listens into your classes,
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
and so
Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. I start the session every week, 8 o'clock a.m. because I
Mhm,
would start the day early,
mhm,
especially in weekend.
mhm.
Because that John, I think he was struggle to get up early, you know, every weekend.
Uh-huh.
But during my English session, my wife was out in the living room, but she could listen some
Mm,
of my conversation with John, my
mhm,
coach John. And I was actually stressed. Well, I was very stressful because through the 2 to 3 months and 4 months, I didn't feel any, improvement in my English speaking and understanding. So I was about to stop and am I going right direction
mm,
or right path? So I was thinking, do I need to continue this course with John or not? Then during the coffee time with my wife, she told me that no, 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 you are doing very good. I can even felt it. I can even felt it. You are improving every week, every month. Just remember, last January, you don't have actually full-time conversation with John, but after 3 months with John, you speak all the time in 1 hour with John. You rapping and focusing and trying to listen what your coach John says, and you are trying to find the context of the article, especially Harvard Business Review that John shared. And he told me that I was impressed. You were passionate about English with Don and Lee. So just I have no reason to, stop this lesson with Don and Lee. So I
mm.
just decided to have a session with John and Don and the company. So I have been studying with you and John more than 14 months, right? 14
14
months.
months, right? Yeah.
14 months. It was
Consistently, no stops.
no stops.
And
No.
I would say, your first 3 or 4 months,
Mhm,
uh, we did the Audible, Netflix, Anki,
mhm.
and you would write down and journal what you did every day.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, a very big part of your consistency in long-term studying, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It,
I cannot say that it was easy.
no,
It wasn't easy. Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not easy. Um, but the few that do that, like yourself,
Mhm.
um, you can experience tremendous results. Not right away, but there's going to be those breakthrough moments, like when you go to America and you attend an English speaking seminar,
Mhm.
and you get to experience, whoa, there is a transformation. Okay,
Yeah.
all those hours and all those days, weeks, months of being
Mhm.
with my coach, studying on my own, waking up early, um, you know, studying the Harvard Business Review article in your bus, in your car, in your subway. It all pays off, right?
Mhm.
Um, but it is those first 3 or 4 months where breaking a new habit and creating a new routine
Yes.
difficult.
Difficult. It is. Yeah.
But you did it, and that's what we're having this call, because I want to let everybody know how important self training really is, right?
Mhm.
Everybody wants to do this one-on-one teaching or one-on-one phone English, and they feel like that would be enough.
Yeah.
But there's much more than that, right? You have to do your listening. You have to do your vocabulary. You have to do, you have to learn about different cultures, right? And best way to do that is through movies and dramas, learning from your coach who has the worldviews.
Sure.
So you are a proven case, Mr. Park.
Mm,
You are.
thank
And
you. I think so.
14 months, and then you said, Don, thank you for your service. John, thank you for your service. Let me go try this on my own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And uh, I think that's fantastic. There's one more. And there was a business trip for you where you went to Vietnam, was it? Was it Vietnam?
I was Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah.
And you gave a presentation there. And what was one of those breakthroughs that you had?
There was not travel. There was Vietnamese. The Vietnamese like a telecommunication company was they visited in Korea. I was
Uh,
working for the smart city Korea that is mainly for the building of smart city, and they want to listen our story about how our product works. Especially there was a smart city platform.
mhm,
There are around 10 people visited our company, and I was a presenter to explain our product.
mhm,
And it was a long time to present in English.
mhm.
And before I started with you, I just trying to remember all the script
Right,
in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It was quite difficult, quite tough
right,
job. If
right.
I forgot some word or sentence during the presentation, the rest of the part will be messed.
Mm,
But this time I just read and trying to understand what I need to say, which vocabularies and sentence I express them. I didn't, I didn't trying to remember all the script, but I trying to speak naturally. And then I was also got a coach from John and you as well.
mhm,
And when I'm speaking in English to as a presenter, I need to focus on what the context I want to deliver them.
mhm,
So I was trying to, define how our product works and what we can provide for you for benefits but
mhm,
with our product. So I'm trying to use the word I haven't used like eye-opening.
mhm.
Eye-opening. That word was I learned from John during the personal session.
Yeah,
The eye-opening means it's like very surprising. Yeah?
yeah.
I get bigger.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I decided to use that word, and I did
mhm,
2 or 3 times during the presentation, and it was actually made me very happy. Wow, this word I can adopt during my presentation. And it was 20 minutes of presentation, and everybody trying to listen what I speak and what I trying to draw during the all presentations. So I have a picture of that. That whenever I feel down, feel gloomy, feel blue, I just you know find the pictures and do do a self training, self
mhm,
motivation.
mhm.
I did this kind of job a couple of months ago or a year ago. It was the very beginning of English studying period, but I did it.
Mhm,
And why I cannot did it again?
mhm.
So it was a good experience to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but after 1 year, I actually moved to the multinational companies,
Mhm,
and the main reason I learned in English speaking school with Donald Lee was I want to use my English not only for the travel and for buying food and ordering food in the restaurant. I want to use this business English during lots of conference call,
mhm,
And then after I moved to current company, wow, I got lots of conference call. You know, 2 to 3 calls a day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is really makes me exhausted.
Right.
But without learning English redundantly, I can handle it.
Now, there is no fear with those, right? You don't, there's no fear with that.
No, there's no fear. You know, when I recall my behavior, when I wasn't good enough to speak and listen English during the conference call, I just trying to nod and pretend to understand. I don't
Mm,
even ask questions to my counterpart.
mm,
But after this course, I'm much more focused on the conversation and trying to understand the full sentence and trying to find the context.
mm.
But during the conversation, if I don't find a clue about the whole sentence, I stop and ask them to speak again or speak slowly.
Mm.
And then if he use some kind of shortened word, then I can ask them what is the meaning of a full meaning of a shortened word. Then he will explain. With that, I can manage a whole conversation. I'm not you know pretending or pretending I'm understanding. So it's now much looks like more natural
Mm.
to all conversations.
That's an interesting point, Mr. Park, because um, certainly in business, communication is critical,
Hmm.
right? And there's a lot of loss in translation.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to lose communication is to pretend that you understand, right?
Mhm.
So you're saying that before there could have been instances where you were just nodding and you just wanted to flow the business forward
Yeah.
and not interrupt,
Mhm.
but that's bad business.
Mhm.
So for you, you're saying that during these conference calls and presentations, you're much more present, right?
It is, yes.
And then if there's anything that you don't understand, you will let them know.
Hmm.
And is that the case?
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. That's huge, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of our clients want to improve.
Mhm.
They're dealing with conference calls every day, right? Most of them fear it, and most of them, I don't like to use the word hate, but they hate it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's really getting more used to it, more comfortable, but also owning the moment so that you're not fearing those calls anymore. Mm.
Wow. I like the word owning the moment.
Yeah.
Mm. Owning the moment.
And that comes from, days, months of training,
Hmm.
right? You need to prepare, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And then once you have the confidence, you can really own the moments and you don't have to be scared for those anymore.
No, not anymore.
Good, Mr. Park. Now, um, your story is brilliant. I love it because I love hard work, Mr. Park. I
Hmm.
can see people that are hard workers and people that don't give up, and I like to help those people.
Ah.
You're not a client for us anymore. You're
Hmm.
you're an ex-client, but I still love to speak with you. I still love to meet with you. I still love to see how you're progressing because quite frankly, I like you, right? Again,
Ah.
I like hard workers and hardworking people. They will have great things coming to them,
Hmm.
as it is for you already. Um, I want you to share some insight or maybe some positive, um, yeah, some positive insight to our clients or anyone that would be listening to this recording, because they were in a similar situation as you before, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, Please, if you can share anything that would help our clients, please, this is your time.
Positive insight. right? Mm.
Constructive, anything.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Frankly speaking, as a non-native English speaker, the speaking in English always nervous, especially the situation like this, recording the conversation between you and me, and say something to the current client or potential client about my insight during studying with Donna Lee is quite makes me nervous. Yeah, okay. Constructive insight. I mean, actually, I stopped this coaching session with Donna Lee this February, I think, last February, I think. The reason was I want to experience a different kind of English study by myself. And then it's already been 8 months. It's like 8 months passed. But and I recall having a conversation every week in the morning with my personal coach. It made me stay on the line, stay on the line about not only learning, speaking, understanding, keep trying to conversation with my coach. That is very important. Since I stopped this session with my coach, you know, suddenly somebody asked me about in English during the conversation or during the commuting time. I don't really nervous about that, but situation like this, like having a conversation in English, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, still makes me nervous.
Hmm.
That's the kind of side effect of starting the personal session,
Hmm.
personal coaching session with Donnie. But when I say my experience about the insight, then was that 지속성이 뭐였더라? Persistence.
Persistence.
Persistence. But learning English is very important.
Mm.
If you don't speak a week or 2 weeks in English, you really feel nervous about something with English speaker.
Hmm.
But if you speak English every week in certain time with your coach, I don't think you will feel nervous
Mm.
speaking English. That is very important.
Hmm.
For 6 months, or for 1 year, you can feel that I don't want to no, I don't want to keep this session anymore. But you can decide whether you go or not. But the consequence of your making decision will affect the rest of your English study.
Hmm.
So I have experience. I have a 1 year and 2 months of English studying with you, but I also have 8 months of starting English study with your company.
Hmm.
I know the difference.
Okay.
I really know the difference.
Hmm.
For me, uh, I'm actually trying to, contact Don and Lee again. Especially my wife recommend me. Why don't you start again with Don and Lee? Because
Uh-huh.
I'm a speaker, but my wife, she's an observer.
Uh-huh.
How I speak, how I, you know, studying in English persistently.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I'm thinking that maybe I may I need to start with Don and Lee company again.
Uh-huh.
So I can keep train myself in English. I can improve my fluency in
Hmm.
English.
Hmm.
So I want to recommend Donnelly Company because they have a certain level from the beginner to intermediate level. So the owner of the personal coach will decide what your level, your current level is. So you
Hmm.
don't have to worry about that. There are many coaches who can fit for you, so you can start. The
Good.
issue and the problem is totally up to you. Whether you start now or start months later or half year later, it's up to you. But if I were you, I can stand now. I can just meet Donna Lee and how can I say, monitor yourself. I can you can be monitored from Donna Lee how
Mhm.
your English level is and what you need currently to improve your skills.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Fantastic.
Donna Lee, this is
Fantastic.
very passionate company.
Mr. Park, thank you so much. I didn't obviously expect you to say that during this call, but I feel that it's sincere, and I really appreciate you, Mr. Park, especially on a, what is it, 9 o'clock on a Friday night, Mr. Park. I know there's there's so many things you should be doing, but I appreciate your time always. And look, doors are always open for you, right?
Yeah, sure.
Remember, um,
I know that.
but I want to say one last thing before we finish today.
Mhm.
Um, how, Mr. Park, how you got to this point where you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna try this thing on my own. Right? I'm confident. Let me try a different method on my own." And I said, "Mr. Park, you should try,
Yeah.
and then come back when you're ready, right? And that time will come for us soon, I believe. But in order for you to even get to that position and say, look, I'm good now. Let me just try this thing on my own. The first couple months is
Yeah.
huge. It's critical, right? It's going to be your environment. You need to have the proper support. So you had support from your wife. You had to have the proper mindset, and you had to be hungry to
Mhm.
really improve your English. And I met you at a coffee shop, and you were hungry. You came and met me,
Yeah.
and and I gave you my full support for the first, I think, 3 months. We really got your self-studying, your Netflix, your Audible, your writing, your vocabulary, your reading of Harvard Business Review articles, your twice a week sessions with Coach John.
Mhm.
Wow. So hard work pays off. So that's what I want everybody to know. It's not going to be easy, but if you're willing to put in that hard work and sacrifice, then it's going to pay off for you, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Totally true.
Right. And it's never too late unless you're 70 or 80. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's never too late for anybody. But um, Mr. Park, look, thank you so much. Anything else?
No, I'm fine. You know, we have a lot of opportunity to have a conversation like this.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. I think next time is dinner on you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Always.
Just
Please
joking.
come to our area.
Okay, I will. I will. Um, okay, that's it for today. So thank you so much, and you have a lovely weekend, Mr. Park.
Okay, you too. Thank you very much.
And give your friend a little bit of a push. You know, he still hasn't joined.
Okay, then let's have a Friday night.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
Mr. Park.
Yeah. Bye. Good night.
Good night.